say stay in that seat?
This is not working very well, is it?
Stay in that seat.
This is not working very well, is it?
Yes, that's okay. Music stuck in my head. Yes, it's a waltz. Why not?
He said Dan, wasn't it? Wait, I promised Dan. Do we need to who are we interviewing here? Huh? Why are you so loud?
Well, no, yeah. So he's taken 4 quotations from 2 books, and he said pick a quotation from one of the books.
Yeah? Stick your hands up if you want to be interviewed. 1, 2.
Was it?
Yeah, no.
No, well, next Tuesday is our essay workshops.
We've got this handsome gentleman here. Charlie, have you been asking everyone's names and what they do? Okay, not what they do. Because otherwise we've got no, because we need audio. We've got audio and video as well. Yeah, we're gonna put it on the website. We're gonna we're editing it all together. Right, okay.
I should work tomorrow.
Ready?
It's 12 till 6.
12 to 6. Crazy.
And they're all going to be really grumpy because we've got the post office.
Okay, right.
Post office has just moved into our store.
Oh,
So there's now a post office at the back of the store, but all the old people are like, why is there a post office?
This is Seaford.
Eastbourne. 20 minutes on a bus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then again, Seaford is far.
I was born in Eastbourne.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly people know. I'm going to start that sentence.
Like he'll say this. Okay, yeah. Sorry, please, one. No. I say it. What are you doing? You're not in control. Oh, for fuck's sake. The camera to go, and then you record, and then I ask the question, and then we get the answer, and then we leave. Okay, so good. All right, are we good? You guys what the hell goes on? Shush. All right, ready? Okay, 3, 2. Why is an overview interrupt policies and policies? Well, I'm not sure whether I'm less English policy, but I believe what policy do. To be fair, I don't have like a many countries set up, like 51 countries. So like my to get do the university society for making statement of Afghanistan, so they can get more important in as well. Wait, who it is? Yeah. What's your name? No, because we do it on the audio and then we know.
Got your nose.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wait, one more. Wait, how long have we got? 10 minutes.
Yeah. Hello. Do it, mate. Just talk like normal volume as well. Chitty chat. Chat with me. Do you play any instruments, Sam?
Realize how on it was like, oh,
I do that all the time. Snipe.
she just asked me, oh, if I could play an instrument. Then I realized, oh shit.
Seven, five. No, just these. Yeah. 24.25. It's cold in here. Bring my jacket back.
So yours is 570.5.
Yeah.
Yours is
7.2.
I'm not sure what we're reading.
583.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if she's
I'm gonna. Would I have a chance to ask the candidates for their names? Because I don't want to be saying.
Oh, I think that.
We don't know in which one. Go in. Just tap.
Yeah, I think we have to do it one at a time.
I think maybe in the break.
No.
Can you?
Wait, through any of the mics or just one?
Interviewing you guys. I just wanted to clarify a few things, and that's just your names in it, because I didn't want to just go in there and just start messing up your names. So just tell me if I get it right and tell me if I get it wrong. So first I'll be interviewing Zachary Fairclough.
Fairclough.
Fair. You see, there we go. See, I need to Zachary Fairclough. Clough, yeah?
Yeah, Clough.
Okay, cool. Matt Greenwood. Yeah. Cool. Lucy Williams. Cool. Luke Jenkins.
Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How are you?
Theodora?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
it's
Sam
attached to
took
him. You can chase him and ask him to
Where's he
speak.
gone though?
He's in the green room. Yes, hello. Hello, hello.
Mark was saying that he can hear me.
Wait, sorry, what?
Office kicks in.
Or is it?
Oh yeah, I wrote that.
I feel like
The other day. The backing track. Even better.
missing.
Do it. Oh, you have done it? Then, because you've done it already.
I can't undo yourself because I've already done.
Oh, you can. No point.
How do you Control Alt Delete? No.
A.
Control Z. That's how you.
Control.
Control Alt. That's surely that.
Do it again.
Microphones, can you? Can you screw your?
Oh me. Oh.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, it's done.
I'm gonna check. They weren't screwed in.
Yes? What, which, is it just one?
No. Oh. Tried. None of them were.
Ah.
Yes, hello. 1, 2, 1, 2. I can't rap, so you get numbers. Yay.
Hello.
I don't rap.
Hello.
What do you do?
Me
I would
corporation.
wait.
swap his out.
What, swap them or just give it to him to talk to through?
Can I and just screw
Mark?
No, don't unscrew it. Well, and
take this all off again?
Oh, did you like put through?
yeah, it's.
Mark, I'm gonna come back. I'm just gonna call Theodora. Okay.
Yeah, but
I mean, why does it have to be a live stream? That's the one thing that messes me up. It's live.
Oh, is it?
So you're all gonna see my flaws.
Yeah. Call her.
I used to do that shit.
me on link. 07495 930 138.
I'm gonna grab some water.
I'll get you some.
No, I've got some in my bag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna go over there and see what's going on. I'm not gonna call you. I was gonna come back.
Ahmed. Ahmed. I'm just calling him Ahmed.
Say Mike.
Zachary Fairclough, Matt Greenwood, Lucy Williams, Luke Jenkins, Ahmed. I'm gonna call you Ahmed.
Yes. Hello. What? Hello. Hello. How's it going?
Jamie Dornan.
What up? Bit it.
Is that definitely the right name, by the way, Sandra?
What?
Oh,
That's
Dorman. Oh yeah, it's right.
Dornan.
No,
Yeah.
is it Dornan or
It's meant to be Dorman.
Oh, Doorman.
Dorman? Because Jamie Dornan is the guy from 50 Shades of Grey.
That's what I said when I
So-
saw it. I was like,
Yeah, that's.
Oh, swear.
So Dorman.
I've never seen the film, so
Sony Corporation, made in Korea,
yeah, never saw it.
1080075 Japan.
There's a second one.
Brendan
Yes, the second one's out
Minnesota,
now.
Olivia,
Yeah. 50 Shades Darker is the second.
unsynthesized
Shades Darker.
transmitter.
Sorry.
Made in Korea, Sony synthesized transmitter, frequency range, number 406043.
Is it working? Keep talking.
Sony power audio power meeting set.
Is she
Students'
activating a
Union.
nuclear weapon?
As well, creating links to the rest of the student body. What do you propose to enhance postgraduates' representation?
Oh, sorry, Theodora.
Minutes of answers. Links to sign off if the time is up. One of your most highlighted points is on the greater academics and mental health support for PhD students. How always introducing
What, during
academic
the
advice for
presenting?
PhD
What, during the live stream?
given that most tutors have already been assigned large amounts of undergraduate and
Well.
master's
Not like
students.
in the middle of it. Obviously, wait
How
until
would
we've
you
got like
ensure
graphics or
this
something.
plays
Like,
together?
sorry guys, I gotta go.
Minutes of answers.
How long is each
Link
graphic?
to
Uh,
You pledge
their
to
groups
get
have
rid of
two
the
candidates,
capping
so
of paid hours
minimum
for
would be like 2
associate
minutes.
tutors,
Most of them will be like
as
3
well as
minutes.
smart making sure
So,
they're paid
yeah,
a living
worst comes to
wage.
worst, we'll
How
just
will you
put on like something.
make sure this is enacted and prioritized in times of budget cuts? You're all campaigning for the increased dedicated study spaces for postgraduate students.
Just Lydia. Yeah.
Can you explain how you will try to enact this given the increase in population?
Back in a second here. I need to go use the toilet, so that's up to come off.
Assessments and schedules and marked fairly and quickly to lessen the subjective impact of double marking. How do you plan to do this? That's it. Check in with
The like another thing.
Yeah? Wait, what? Promises. General question for the president. Who stuffs picker?
No, the president's just go.
Get the boom mic. Okay, we've got it. That's it. We need to test it. We need it. Is it? Right. Are you sure that the frequency is the same?
No. They read it out and then we can.
But you can read it out and then you can check. The boom mic's ready. But is like another setting. I don't know how to. Does anyone know how these work? Seb's coming out.
The thing is just
know.
Seb doesn't know.
It's Mauricio somewhere.
but if
He's
the
in
frequency,
the-
he knows to just work.
Yesterday.
Boom mic, where is it? Ready? Boom mic ready?
Yeah.
Yep, okay, can we get that over the top here? Now, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this, which is everything! Okay,
It's gonna hurt.
okay, right.
And they tested it before, apparently.
Yeah, good. I'm just trying to think of a convenient place for you to put it, because we might need to have it up for a long time. How can we do that? What have we got? We've got light stands, let's try...
That mannequin.
Mannequin, yeah, let's strap onto that. The thing about resting it on possibly
Yeah.
that light, but yeah. Let's... Idea. Okay, can we move all this here now, out the way?
This one of these can bring these in and have a
Side, move this. Yes, everything that's on that to the side. Bring that boom mic this way. And can we get a duct tape from both these?
the camera you want it, yeah.
Shall I make some room for it?
So putting it to the side.
We might do it.
Am I bringing the wire around the back of all the cameras?
Okay, if you can extend that to its max length, please. Extend the boom to its max length.
Oh, right, sorry. Yeah, we can talk.
Okay, well, I'm just get this. I do not trust those mics. It's because they're just trying to transmit through a wall.
Oh, they can't transmit through the wall.
A little bit. Okay, right. Right. Right, we're going to slide that along so it's above the main plate of the candidates. Okay, so we just support it over there. Okay, now who's got the duct tape? Someone, your tool, can you help this reset? That's right, I'll take it. One more than that. wiring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should I put it around the back of it?
Yeah, we're going to need to slack on that.
Thanks.
Hang on. How much slack have I got on this?
Why don't you twist it up?
Oh shit, do they have to be with their specific one?
How long is
Use
on
more
the
slack if I can, guys.
Oh, it's a big tangle.
Give me as much slack as you can.
How do I put this in? Oh.
Do they fit? Yeah, you need special ones.
Oh yeah.
Shall we put it?
What is this for? So inconvenient. Wait, so that gonna go off during the thing? If someone's I mean, isn't Julia gonna be in that room? It would make sense if it's the one that's out that.
Yeah, that's true.
Then we're recording in here.
That's true.
How?
Right.
So we kind of bring your arms like that.
We're running behind it.
Okay. How are we doing? About ready to go? Is everyone else ready to go?
Apart from that,
Apart from that, okay.
Yeah.
So wait, doesn't Nick have? Doesn't Nick? Is it Nick going to be floor director?
Yeah, she is.
You get her in here, maybe? Because she should have one that is earphones, and she'll be instructing you guys quietly. Okay, safety is in place. Good.
Looks tough. Just sit down, take
I literally can just sit down.
the whole time. Just sit and watch it basically. Hour and a half of standing up doing whatever.
My ears are not designed for this.
Julia, can you hear me? Huh? Julia? I can't hear myself. I can hear you. You're not meant to hear yourself. I can't hear Julia. I can't hear Julia.
I have bad news today that I might be needed for the live stream thing, so I might not be able to do what you needed me to originally.
Are they?
So if you want to grab a runner, sorry.
Ready and
To attention.
Julia, can you talk again?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, you are very loud and clear. Yep.
Do you want me to send someone to just like, you can give them the instructions you're going to give me?
We're not using radio mics on.
Or Joanna
No.
No.
That's going to be used now.
Okay.
He's not really doing much.
Make sure to take it all.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
better for you, I
Okay,
guess.
I'll ask Misha to come in and just chat to you.
I can do whatever. I haven't got anything. But I need more than one person to help me with the. Oh, but we don't need the mic anymore, right? No. Yeah, because it's. So I'm free. Am I ready? Julia, are we ready to go live? Can I go get candidates? working?
On. Yeah, it's chill.
To run through, it's like a running back. Okay, let's get that on. We just need to go through some lines so we can make sure we can hear.
Over here? Is anyone?
Okay.
Sam, you're going to be holding that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's reflecting the green screen at the moment.
That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It looks weird.
You could do a magic trick. You hold up to the camera. And
Yeah, hold it in front of your face and your face will come on.
Oh, mad.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so once you sit down, just talk about your day.
Cool.
And we'll just
I wouldn't use them anymore.
Oh, the
Centers as well. Maybe if we're just having one like. Oh yeah, they're sharpening wine and vinegar. Oh, coffee. Stop it.
Sorry, not tucking in and stuff.
Was it? Oh no, the candy. Have they? Eat food. Eat food. I had so much popcorn. I was so then you want like for dinner. Guys, we're going live.
Oh, man. I thought we were going to do a sound test. With
Are we?
with the
I don't know.
microphones. Because I'm wearing one now.
Why? Where are you hiding?
Oh, because I'm tucking in.
I mean, where's this coming from?
Yeah. Do you still want me to do the sound check?
Are we doing the sound check over?
Just checking if this is on. Oh, I put.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
Not the
is it
sound check
actually
for
on?
walkie-talkie, the
Yeah.
sound check for.
assuming the green light means off.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you ask? No, this fucking thing. Can you ask Seb whether we need to do sound check? Yes. Get candidates one so we can test it. Can you open that chair? Can you take on the table one? I mean the chair. Yes,
Oh, there's a break.
Switch from.
Probably like 10 minutes. If it's live, it's not going to be something long, is it?
No.
it's going
No.
to be 10-15 minutes.
Okay. Oh, brilliant. Sandwich.
Is that sarcasm?
Huh?
Is that sarcasm?
No, 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 no. No, I was being.
Genuine.
Genuine. Yeah, I definitely would love a 15-minute break. Talking so much.
Is that door going to be shut when we're doing it?
Because people keep walking
Yeah, I
past you
think
like aren't
should
part
be.
of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess if someone needs to come in, they can't knock on the door. That's why they're leaving it.
Hello guys.
Are we miking up?
I believe so.
Probably not.
Do I have one?
That mannequin's gonna really throw me off.
Come on, I'm looking at that one.
Hi.
Where's everyone's mic?
Yeah.
Everyone, can you get mic'd up?
Where?
There's mics?
Yeah.
Julia?
Where are the mics?
Hello?
We're not
Oh,
using
there's
that.
one above.
No, there's only a bonus. Where are the mics?
Oh, I think Olivia packed them away.
There you go.
Can you unpack them, please? Love it.
Yeah, you probably started
Yeah, I was in here.
K6.
Oh,
What? You need the one that has the
Kind of.
No one can hear me.
I'm English, but I grew in Singapore. I went to
Right.
America. Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Am I getting in or out?
We see them.
You know that
Where do we put this?
Back pocket?
Put it, or you can tuck it very nicely.
Great.
Oh, no, really like weird belly genitalia.
Do you want to do mic check then?
I don't have a mic yet.
You have the boom, Lee. Yeah.
Am I that tall?
We're going to give him a mic just in case.
We're missing one.
Is there a mic, Olivia?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I won't have to. I won't have to.
That one, if nothing else.
I won't have to say anything. I'll just talk loud enough that his mic sounds like.
Look up.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. That's right. What you do is give us your speech in terms of interpretive dance.
Just like you just damn fly away.
You get my
Damn helicopter. Dude, if I could pull that off, man, I totally could. Like that, my exit would be just like sorry. A dabicopter.
we are doing the
Check.
Yeah, I'm gonna lift it. I'm gonna put it. Oh no, I'll do the whole
Right,
thing.
is there? Where's Nick?
Do the whole thing. Yeah, they are
Nick, what we're going to do in a minute is once they're sat down, we'll get them each to go through one of their mics.
What?
Good thing to do would be make sure that we're using the same mic
That's why
in
we're
each
going first.
chair position.
Everything.
Okay, so we keep that in mind, so we don't get confused. Okay? So,
we are using both boom mic and clip mic.
yeah. So if we get them sat down in the chairs, okay?
Zachary,
Yeah.
you go first,
Me
and
and
then
Matt.
Matt and Lucy.
What do you think I should clip this? How you doing? Good. That was terrible.
Pretty terrible.
Right, Nick,
Can I not have my question asked first?
I mean, you are standing there.
I mean, I've got
Sitting.
Zach.
Oh boy, yeah, that's me.
Oh, okay.
So can that not be? Can you switch that? Is that possible?
I could switch it if you want.
That'd be sick.
Start from the other end.
I've already won your favour. Or not? I should have said that. I've lost.
Can we like
it.
rock, paper, scissors it
Yeah,
out
yeah,
right now?
fair enough.
'Cause-
Go on. I'll be the
Best
adjudicator.
out of three.
I'm
Okay.
going to be in the other end, and I'm going to talk to you.
Rock,
Julia,
paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay? And we're
Rock,
basically
paper,
gonna go
scissors,
through
shoot.
them each to try
Rock,
out,
paper, scissors, shoot.
individually, so
Rock,
make sure
paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh wait, I lost twice.
Yeah, that's best.
Matt, do you want to go?
No, I'm good.
I can show you.
That'd be great. I didn't know you know what it is.
Okay, so
What camera are we meant to look at? Or are we meant to look at
Him.
the host?
Just talk to him.
Back camera.
You won't know which camera it is.
But it should be
ask
fine.
you
It's basically about your
speak
benefits.
up, just use the mic.
Make it easier to people come. Yes.
I just fear that like to University of Sussex is going to rip me to
Oh,
shreds.
no,
they
it's
are.
fair.
Like,
I
guaranteed.
think the plan to that is to just make something that's so outrageous that they can't even parody it. They'll just put it in anyway.
You know, like in Bake Off, when they like talk about things that
Start
are just
swearing.
provocative that they want to get mucked around with.
Yeah,
Ideally, yeah.
Well, maybe we can.
Which way are we mic testing?
Hi. Hello.
What have you had for breakfast today?
Man, my breakfast was amazing, let me tell you. Had a big bowl of fucking scrambled eggs and mushrooms, and then with a side of grilled PBJ. Carried me from 10 a.m. all the way to 4 when I had 4 McVitie's digestive biscuits and a half pint of milk. That was my day so far. So hopefully I don't
your entire day
cram.
was just eating.
Oh, I mean, isn't your day entirely eating?
Partially.
Okay.
I might check too.
Is that okay?
You should not eat just McVitie's bits for breakfast.
Yeah, that's not okay.
That's not okay.
I'd vote for you just based on that.
Matt, turn to Tom. What have you had for breakfast?
What did I have? I didn't have breakfast today because I was working on an assignment for uni.
You prefer Zach.
Where do you work?
I work in a coffee shop in Camptown. It's great lols. Having such a fantastic time making coffee and smiling and kill me.
Hiding the hurt.
Hiding the pain. Yeah.
Is that good? Julia?
If I had a beer like that, I'd win.
Can start Tom again.
About my breakfast, even more.
Your
So,
lunch
let
and
me
stuff
tell you,
as well.
scrambled eggs and mushrooms is not the regular deal. On the regular, you want to mix between a big bowl of Cheerios with a combination of Cookie Crisps as well, because you get the nutritional value.
Like, I need to leave because
Yeah.
there was a speech right there. Like, wow.
It's alright. We can
Breakfast is
together.
fine. My manifesto. No. Fuck.
They're live.
Ah. We're so sick. We just talk about breakfast.
Yeah, we just pulled a prank on you.
Yeah.
We're not even doing the show.
Oh.
It's just a really elaborate session.
Just like, you should walk up and just like, I'm out.
Someone runs around with a green morph suit behind.
Pretty happy to be alive.
I should answer the question as a vegan. as a vegan.
That's Luke Jenkins' manifesto.
Yeah.
Is he
No,
really
not Luke.
Someone's manifesto.
Chris, someone for
Is he
president.
running? Is that serious? I thought it was a joke.
Party foul.
What is it? Is it too sexy? Is it?
No, it's just gonna be so blinding when the camera's on that
You should have,
you're
like-
not gonna see
Ooh.
anything.
Did you feel that shock? I just got an electric shock off your knee. We should have highlighted and contoured your knees.
Can I get some makeup on my knees?
Oh,
please?
there's probably pretty
Anastasia Beverly Hills over here, please, hon.
It's gonna be a long night.
It's gonna be great.
lipstick around the middle.
Oh, no, I'm feeling it.
Already. What did you have for breakfast?
Remember to make sure we know which mic.
What did you have for lunch?
What would you? Had lunch for breakfast. Man,
So
no.
Olivia,
Yeah,
can you
I
stand
chose to
by
eat like a
here?
warrior once a day.
Also, make sure
How do we know
that
which
you
camera to look
swap
at?
Oh, they'll tell you.
Zach Mike with Luke, Matt
Oh,
with
yeah,
Ahmad,
by the way.
and Lucy with
I
Jamie.
don't think you ever look in the camera.
If you match the mics to the cameras, then you'll know exactly
Yeah,
which one.
it's
So if you
talking
go
about-
middle
It'll be
camera,
weird
and
if
then
Yeah.
side
Yeah,
camera,
because I
it's
saw
the
like the
easiest
last
way.
year, like the thing
If
was
you
like,
assign them to the people who are behind the
ask
cameras, they
questions.
can.
Hello and welcome to Candidate Question Time. I'm your host for this evening, Samuel Lion, and I'll be asking our guests a series of questions targeted towards each of their manifestos for this year's Student Union Elections 2017. We'll be hearing from candidates running in the positions from categories such as activities, society and citizenship, postgraduate and undergraduate education, welfare, and finally, the student union president. So let's begin. First round, we have candidates running for activities. So let's hear a bit more from them.
And I'm running for activities officer. My manifesto focuses on getting a greater sense of community throughout the entire university through the means of focusing on sports by rebranding all the competitive and casual sports teams, through clubs in general by making it easier for all students, undergraduate and postgraduate, to be involved in multiple clubs at the same time, as well as for the establishment of a peer-to-peer learning system in the library.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm running for activities officer. My campaign is for improved sports facilities, especially at Stanmer Park, as well as some better lighting and pathing up at the Falmouth Sports Complex, because that's really bad at the moment. I also want to set up an activities hub on the website and in app form for students to run societies, get involved with societies, and generally just interact more with the union. I want to set up more investment in student media, so that's in equipment and in training, so they can do better stuff more often. And I also want to set up dedicated fundraising inside the union, so societies and sport clubs can make more money and do more stuff, and generally have a better time at union. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name's Lucy. I'm running for Activities Officer in the upcoming SU elections. I just want to go over a few of my points. Number one, I would love to get minibuses so that our sports clubs and societies can get to fixtures and events without having to arrange private travel and then getting reimbursed by the union, which can take a little while. My second point is I would like to create a centralised website where sports clubs and societies can purchase their kit, getting rid of excessive delivery charges and waiting times. My third point is I'd like to drastically improve Freshers Week by holding an all-day style festival, but also creating like inter-sports and inter-hall competition so that you can really support your halls, and that would involve sports like football, rugby, netball and kickball. I would also like to see the union get really behind on varsity, and lastly I'd like to drastically improve the funding for our sports clubs and societies. Thank you.
Welcome back. So now we have with us in the studio the first group of candidates running for activities officer. So first and foremost, how you guys all doing? All right?
Pretty good.
Pretty well.
Yeah?
We're
Good
good.
to know. So Zach, let's start with you first.
All right.
One thing all students can attest to is balancing academic work with extracurricular activities. So what plans do you have in order to make it easier for students to commit to multiple clubs on and off campus?
One of the key points of my manifesto was to create a second block that all students have off, because currently we have Wednesdays from 1 p.m. onwards, and that's only for undergrads. Postgraduate students and PhD students don't get this time to join parts of clubs, which, despite clubs being one of the major sources of society that we get to participate in as students.
Yeah.
So I would propose establishing a block, be it Monday or Tuesday, in the middle of the day, so that non-sporting clubs could host times in certain buildings and make sure that a time that everyone is free, that's not at like say 6 or 9 p.m. so that we don't have the older students who live off campus have to go all the way back at like 9 o'clock at night.
So does that mean you try and find a time that doesn't cut into academic time for the students? Or?
Yeah, I mean, because the issue right now is that planning an event around like different student schedules is very difficult.
Yeah.
Because a sports club will say, I had practice from 1 to 3 today. Half the team didn't show up because they all have lectures or seminars, they're out of town, they're doing work. But if we had a second block that's similar to the Wednesday one,
yeah,
but make it much shorter to make it more possible to fit into the schedule, we could have like 11 to 1. And if you're not participating in clubs at that time, you can go for a lunch, go sit down in the library, do some reading, and not have to always be worrying about whether, like when you're planning, whether or not you can fit all your students in at this time.
I see. That's great. Let's move on to Matt now. In your manifesto, you claim most of the facilities are in dire need of investment for things such as repairing and revamping the Stanmer Park facilities. So, How are you going to raise money for this?
So there are a lot of different ways you can raise money in the Students' Union. So our primary kind of initial bulk income comes from the university. So they give us a grant for the entire year to do everything that we want to do. And then on the side of that, we also have our commercial side. So we have Falmouth Bar, we have East Slope, we have the Globe in Town, we have the Students' Union shop, and we have the co-op. I would prefer to lobby the university first and ask, can we revamp these? And I think one of the primary motivators for them is going to be the fact that I've heard from students that other universities are coming and seeing the Stanton Park facilities and going, Sussex is a bit awful, because they're seeing all the kind of bad situations that they're getting into. There's mud, there's all sorts of graffiti, there's broken holes in the walls, there's really, really bad stuff. And I think if we lobby the university on the idea that it'll improve Sussex's standings, then they'll probably be open to helping revamp that. If we can't do that, then there are other ways of raising money. So I would, as part of my other bits of the manifesto, help societies to start fundraising, and have like a dedicated area within the union to help them with fundraising, so that when they want to improve something such as the Stanton Park sports facilities, they can help raise funds there, and then the union and the societies themselves can help pay for that sort of thing.
Do you think fundraising would definitely be an effective way of raising money?
So I would say that fundraising is definitely the lesser option, because the university have a lot more basically buying power. And I think Cut the Rent is a campaign that's been working to kind of reduce the profit that the university makes off students on-campus rent. And I think that would definitely be a place to work with them and see if we can redirect some of that income into improving these sports facilities on campus.
Okay, that's great. Let's move on to Lucy. Now, Lucy, you mentioned in your manifesto you plan on lobbying the university to purchase minibuses for sports teams and societies. So how do you actually intend on doing so?
In terms of funding?
Yeah.
Well, I want to have like a comprehensive look at how we spend money, how the university spends money, and how the union itself spends money. Yeah. Obviously, like you've mentioned, the rising costs of renting both on and off campus, we need to address that first. When it comes to minibuses, though, this is an investment for students, not just in my cohort, but in years to come. So many other universities have minibuses for their clubs and societies to use to get to events, fixtures, all sorts of things. And it just seems a shame that our university, which is such a good university, doesn't have this. So I'm going to have like a look at where we get our money from, and really lobby the university, because being at uni is not just about academia, but also about taking part in lots of extracurricular. And the uni needs to understand that and to help students have a better student satisfaction.
Well, you know what? I can't argue with any of those answers, guys. I think they're all great answers. But I've got a general question I want to put to all three of you, and each of you can answer them individually, in whatever order. The question I have is, what do you think could be improved upon within the current system of societies, and how would you plan to address this?
So one of my main manifesto pledges is to revamp the way that sports clubs and societies interact with the union by establishing an activities site and app that help them to kind of manage societies.
Okay.
Because at the moment it's all over the place. So you'll have Facebook groups from a particular year that someone tries to join, and then it's the wrong year, or then it's the wrong club, and then it's all sorts of... it's everywhere, and it's not union-based. It's all using Facebook or Twitter or a WhatsApp message or something. If we bring that all together into an app and on our website, then it becomes much easier for the union to help manage, set up new societies, and kind of in general improve the way that we can interact with societies.
Aside from the point I mentioned in your first question, I think a big part is that societies are a great opportunity to build community amongst students, and I feel like that's lacking. The sense that when we have these major sports games, aside from varsity, we have no one show up in any sense. So I would try and give some benefits and incentives for students to come and watch sports games. Be it like on a Wednesday when we're playing a big game, if you're wearing colours, you get student discounts. Or be it that we can start setting up like major events, like hot dog stands, and like actual making that when Sussex is playing their major rival in any given sport, that we have hundreds of students out cheering for our fellow students.
Definitely. Lucy, is there anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, sure. When I was building my manifesto, I reached out to as many sports clubs and societies as I could to try and get their input, and lots of things came up. Room booking is one that came up time and time again. Students are having a real big problem with that. Something I wanted to jump on that you said, that having outside food catering, like beer tents and stuff at our events, currently that can't happen. Our university has to give first refusal of these things to Sussex Food, which brings us Dine Central and Food Central. That's obviously not the greatest of catering. Meanwhile, at Brighton, in previous years at Varsity, there's been like Red Bull tents, other beer tents, food tents, etc. And I really want to make sure that that changes, because if we want to have that happen, if we want to have a real sense of like pride in Sussex and our sports and our clubs and stuff, obviously we want to have all those things too.
That's great. Furthermore, another one I could put to you is how do you all plan to realistically and effectively improve communication between students and the student union about activities and societies, actually?
Should I get I work in the comms department at the union currently, and one of our main pushes, which was why I was hired in the first place, is in our video content. And I think investing more in our ability to create content that's more consumable on the go for students, because a lot of our current stuff is online, or it's on Twitter or something, and it's not always something that goes down quickly or easily. It's like you read through 10 pages of whatever. And I think by investing more in our student media, so they can help spread the word, and also in our comms department, we can help kind of expand and go into more depth in a lot of the stuff that we cover.
I mean, beyond that, which is an amazing idea, I must say, I think a key part is that professors could show more interest, especially with related to sports games. Like if we do have like a major event that's going on at that time, professors showing that if you guys are up for it, we're going to go here and make it a part of the lectures, as opposed to have it just be buried through the Careers Hub emails or through the general union emails.
Well, that's great, guys. Thank you very much. Sorry to cut us off short. What you had to say, Lucy.
I have things too.
That's great. We're going to move on to... What exactly are we moving on to?
The other candidates.
The other candidates.
So I'm guessing we're moving on to a VT. So we're moving on to a VT. This thing's happening on live stream. So yeah, there you go. No, we've not. We haven't.
I'm a third-year geographer, music and theatre rep on the Societies Committee, geography student rep and co-founder and president of Sussex Reggae. Now, the aim for me as activities is getting students involved in activities that enrich their own lives and the lives of others around them, creating a more positive, lasting impact on the community. The way I plan to achieve this is increasing the participation of the student body in society's sport and particularly volunteering.
Hi, I'm Ahmad Nakudin. I'm running for activities officer, by the way, and I have no manifestos, no photos at all, not even a slogan yet. But one thing I can promise is that I'm going to make all your society guys free somehow, through like if the uni can pay you guys like £100 per month. I think you would love it, brother, so do vote for me. Peace out.
Hold on a second. No, I don't think so.
They still better they're sitting. Yeah, they did drink. They did drink. Lucy
So
drank
Luke,
and
Armand, and Jamie.
Yeah, man. Cool. How you doing, bro?
I'm right.
Okay, looking at you or looking
Oh, wait, I need...
looking at me, man. Don't look at the camera when you look at me.
No, it was a joke. Treat that now.
Do you know what your question is?
No. Yeah, I just gotta put a story in. It's like so curious.
No, we don't need it.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, the general one is there.
Am I keeping my graph?
Nick, are we not using my mic?
Oh, you're gonna attack me on my manifesto?
Yeah. It's just on your manifesto, so
Okay.
something you thought of.
Can I have a look as well? Do we not?
back. Now we're joined with 3 new sets of candidates, Luke, Ahmed, and Jamie. So, Luke.
Hi.
Let's ask you about your manifesto. You've raised the point of promoting and increasing the presence of student media.
Indeed.
How do you plan on doing this, and does this mean trying to involve more media students with your course?
Oh well, yes, of course. I mean, media students, it's integral to their course to be involved in these kind of almost extracurricular, even though obviously it's the same kind of thing. But with the student media, you've got URF, UniTV, as we are here, and of course the Badger. Now, I want to see that these student media platforms are being used more effectively on campus for the student population, but also off campus for the people of Brighton. So I'd like to see copies of the Badger, for instance, being placed on Brighton and Hove buses, so people can take up a copy and read it. And also things like URF and UniTV. We have some great conferences and we have some great events that go on at Sussex. So, for instance, coming up soon is the Development Society's Global Health Conference. So I'd like to see UniTV, I'd like to see URF kind of coming to these events and filming them and promoting these events, but also promoting it to the students, of course, but also to the wider community. So you've got people in other countries that may want to view these conferences or view these events. And it would be a great way of showcasing these student media platforms to the wider community of students and the wider body around Brighton and the UK. So I think it's integral that these student media platforms are championed.
Okay, definitely. Do you think that more promotion needs to be done amongst Sussex itself on campus, amongst students? Do you think it gets enough media presence?
I think these societies are known, but I think there's always more to be done. And with things like URF, I often find that people don't know about it, but as soon as they start listening, they really engage in it and they really want to become a part of it. So I feel like if we get URF and UniTV also involved in other student societies, it will promote themselves as part of the student body, for instance, in sports matches.
Okay. Now, Ahmed, I've not been given a list of your manifesto.
Yeah, fair enough.
But are there any key issues you want to address, and why would it be something you definitely want to make sure it needs to be improved within the current system?
The only issue that I'm addressing right now is mostly the funding system and how it works.
The funding system, yeah. Okay.
So what I'm fighting for right now is that for every society to get like a constant £100 per month funding. It's because like going through like a request system sometimes can be a bit of hassle, and most societies couldn't move like faster to do their events, so hence they keep on cancelling them whenever they want, or charging the students, which is sometimes it's even somehow decreases like the involvement in it. So that's how I aim to like improve the involvement among students.
Do you think it needs improving?
Yes, at the moment, yes. Among international students, although they have a society, but somehow the cost is a big factor. Like for me, not being involved at all. At the moment, I'm like a part of like the Salsa Sussex Society, so I'm paying like £3. For me, I don't mind, but like others, they find it a bit of a stretch for even £3.
Yeah.
So we're trying to like lower it down and make it much more fun for everyone.
Okay. Now, Jamie, again, I've not got a list of your manifesto in front of me, but what issues are you here today to address yourself?
So in my manifesto itself, I kind of have isolated a few issues that I think are really pertinent within activities at Sussex. First of all, I think there should be greater accountability for the elected officials. Thankfully, I think we've got a really good group of elected officials at the moment, but in previous years I've noticed it's quite hard to actually hold them to their manifesto points. So this is something I'd really like to drive, maybe through Union Council having a greater presence involved with that. Secondly, kind of infrastructure. This university, we're taking more and more students on every year on year, and yet there's not really been nothing's really been put into the infrastructure of sports or societies really. So with regards to that, I'm really lobbying for a full-size 3G, which would benefit American football, lacrosse, ultimate frisbee and rugby, and obviously could be booked out, potentially a tennis dome, but kind of things like that. I know archery, for instance, really wants to get some outdoor competition going on. So that's kind of infrastructure point, but also it relates to societies and the kind of booking system, which is it's quite mental at the moment. It's hard to find a room to book out, which is weird considering we can actually technically book out any of the rooms on campus. So just a different booking system for that. Then of course I want to get funding. I've been a sports rep for 2 years, and we were able to really drive and get some funding for like ambulance cover to be up on Wednesday matches, and this is something I'd like to really see continued. In terms of societies, I know a lot of them really want to be able to do like first aid training and things like that, and there's just not the pot there, so I'd really like to increase the society's pot that they can apply into up to like around £30,000, and I've heard it. They think it's possible. Volunteering would be quick, but we've obviously got a really good volunteering team at the uni as well. But I just would like to see it a bit easier to kind of just go on a site, see what you're really interested in, and like you can just find because there are so many things. Like for example, I know some of the sports teams work with homeless shelters, and it would just be, I think it would be quite easy and attainable to have a list of potential charity ventures you can engage in. That you can just go on the website and just apply to and just become involved with that. I think it would just be really good for the students.
Great. That's definitely great. Now, the general question I want to put to all three of you fairly quickly is about the LEAF scheme. Now, the LEAF scheme is somewhat ignored amongst some societies. So, I mean, how do you plan on addressing participation, and if funding isn't incentivizing societies to join, does the scheme require change?
Well, I'm a representative on the Societies Committee, so I have quite a lot of input in the LEAF scheme and also networking with societies. And what I found is actually that funding is a very big incentive, but as you said, it's not publicised enough and advertised enough. I think the best way of dealing with this is face-to-face conversations. So I'm looking to put in more society reps for next year to cover more societies, because we're just growing exponentially. I mean, over Christmas we had 60 new society applications to look through. And I think if we have more society reps who cover more societies, we can tell them about these leaves and also give them guidelines, because there's so many leaves as well, covering so many different things. Maybe we could streamline the LEAF scheme down a bit, but I just think it's just getting the information across for the societies to fill them in, because I found that once we've done that with the societies that I'm in contact with, they've filled in multiple leaves since we've sat down and chat about it.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, Ahmed, Jamie, do you have any points you'd like to?
I think I would say, apologies for that, I have no idea what the LEAF is. Can you like bring me in a bit about it, buddy?
Neither do I, to be honest.
Do you want me to explain it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's a scheme that societies can sign up for, where if they've done an event or they've done some training or some fundraising, there's leaves for different things such as charity or campaigning, so like I Heart Consent or First Aid or whatever. You apply to the SU. If it matches the criteria of the LEAF scheme, I think it's bronze, silver, gold, and there's different amounts of money you get for completing each one.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I have nothing to say about it. But like, the only thing I could say is that the participation, like, to get students in is a bit interesting to tackle, because like most of them are like, the moment they finish class, they just want to get out from the uni, right? So the way I look at it is mostly the times, I guess. If you can like change the timetables from each society to like to do in between classes, they would highly join in. Because like for me, I have like one lecture at 9 o'clock, then like for like 2 hours, then like nothing else to do till like 5 o'clock. So like it's gonna be a big challenge for me. So like if they could change the times, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie, first of all, do you know what the LEAF scheme
is?
Yeah,
we run a sorry. No, we run leaves in sport as well, and I think, and from the societies I've been involved with as well, I feel it's a pretty similar, quite similar to what Luke says. It's kind of getting over the fear of, not even the fear, but it's extra work for committees to put in, and committees have to put in so much time and work to really like launch a platform for their society or sport, and but it's just once you've kind of sat down and talked with them and explained through it and they see the benefits from it, it's not like you really have to go out of your way to get the leaves if you're an active society or sports club. You just need to be up for it and want to apply for it and just be rewarded for it. It's kind of a win-win. So it's just kind of getting that communication out there.
That's great. That's great. I mean, again, thank you guys for coming in.
By the way, if you want to do a meme of me like not prepared or like I'm not prepared at all, just so you know.
I'm guessing there's going to be a couple of memes still.
Probably.
All right then. Well, that's great. That's all of our activities candidates. So next up, we will have our candidates running for society and citizenship officer.
Hi, my name is Katie Woodward. I'm running for Society and Citizenship Officer. I'm currently studying in third year in International Relations, and I hope one of my main points in my manifesto is to, it's called Create Your Own Community with Curly KR, and it's hoping to give students a platform and the skills in which to use what they've learned at university. So it's going to be an event unifying all societies over campus, reduce like prices of veganism on campus because it's quite restrictive, and I also want to look at one of my main things is a housing complaint feedback service for rent prices that are increasing.
Hi, I'm Aisling. I'm running for Society and Citizenship Officer because having grown up in Brighton and being a student at Sussex, I'm really passionate about our community and everything that we stand for. So having been involved with Cut the Rent this year, I want to set up a tenants union so that renters across Brighton can be united in fighting bad landlords and bad housing. I also want to continue work on the Foodways Cafe on campus and find a permanent location for it so we can provide food on a pay-as-you-feel basis. I also want to make sure that the university commits to complete divestment from fossil fuels and work with Fossil Free Sussex to ensure that this campaign carries on. I also want to start a House the Homeless campaign, as lots of Sussex and Brighton students really care about rising homelessness in Brighton. And I want to set up a Sussex Activist Forum which links activists across Brighton so that we can be united and have a strong network of people.
All right, hello and welcome back. We are now joined with our two candidates for Society and Citizenship Officer. Welcome.
Hello. Hello.
Hiya, Katie.
That's fine.
How you doing?
Yeah,
you all right?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah. So the question I have for you is, you mentioned you want to introduce a scheme to help students learn valuable skills which will help them achieve their goals.
Mm-hmm.
So can you explain a bit more about this and in particular what skills you're referring to?
Okay. First of all, like the skills that I'm referring to are mainly sort of like when I've been in Brighton community myself, I've found that sort of like in terms of like part-time jobs or like general integration with life after uni can be quite difficult. And a lot of students I find come to university, they learn like valuable skills from their courses. However, actually transferring them skills into like life after uni can often be quite like difficult. So I would mainly want to like work on my experience of that and transfer my skills and maybe like bring in people from the wider community to make sure that students feel confident in their ability to integrate with the Brighton community. So it'd basically be through like one of my things is part-time jobs initiative. So that would be like maybe like inviting, well, I would hope to invite local businesses to like maybe get their point across with how they feel like students when applying to jobs have a lot of knowledge but not the skills to apply to part-time jobs to finance themselves during university. And other things would be sort of like events and workshops around the university to make sure that students feel like they're continuously so it's accessibility to like skills and workshops and stuff like that.
That's great. That's great. So Aisling, I hope I said that right.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Finally.
Don't worry.
Very right. Now, in your manifesto, you've outlined some key areas that you want to focus on if you were elected. So, you were saying that the most important issue for our viewers will be the state of housing in Brighton. So what will you do to ensure that the landlords and agencies provide better quality housing for students?
Right. By the way, I'm loving this green screen.
It's all green.
Yeah, so housing is a massive issue. There's a massive housing crisis in Brighton at the moment. One of the ways I want to tackle this is to continue working on setting up a tenants union across Brighton. So Sarah, the current society and citizenship officer, and myself and a few others, including members of the council, have started working on setting up a Brighton tenants union based on a Bristol tenants union, which aims to unite renters across the city.
Yeah.
So students are arguably the largest community of renters in the country, and I think if we unite together, we can put ourselves in a stronger position to fight increasing rents and bad housing, inaccessible housing, and bad landlords and letting agents. So that's one thing I'd do. I think educating students on their rights as renters is really important, so I'd like to work in solidarity with Solidarity Federation in Brighton to make sure that when students move from campus accommodation into the city, they know their rights as renters. So for example, it's illegal for a landlord to come round to the property without 24 hours warning in advance, for one example.
Of course.
I think having been involved in the Cut the Rent campaign for the last year, I have experience with like lobbying the university management about creating more and better and more accessible and cheaper housing on campus, and I'd like to take that skill to lobby the council and landlords and letting agents as well.
I see. So the general question I have for both of you is, you've both mentioned you want to work and encourage students to get more involved in the community and to engage in active citizenship. So how will each of you work to combat apathy and to educate more students on how they can actually help?
Do you want to?
Anyone can go first.
I'm easy, you can go first if you want.
Okay. So I think what's clear is that university is a microcosm of wider society, and I think particularly in recent months we've seen the growth of fascism, racism, misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, ableism. And I think what students learn at university, I know this from personal experience, I've been involved in a lot of activism on campus and off campus, and I think the skills that students learn at university in tackling problems in society, they keep with them for life. So it's really important that students get educated on other people's life experiences and not just focus on their own privilege, realise their privilege and realise other people's disadvantages.
Yeah.
One thing that students seem to really care about is homelessness in Brighton, which is increasing. So I know from speaking to students that this is something that people want to get involved in, and they need like a channel to help that. So I want to set up a House the Homeless campaign. But I think it's just important to make sure that students have compassion and understanding that we all, face difficulties under this white supremacist, capitalist, heteropatriarchy, which is also ableist. And I think just educating people on that
That's a lot of words.
Really important.
It's very good. A lot of big words. Definitely. And you, Kaylee, sorry?
I don't know whether I've got as many big words. But I feel like I've done little bits of local charity work whilst in Brighton. And I feel like that is really important to me, with sort of highlighting how local charities, they're very important. However, there's not a space for them on campus as much.
Yeah.
So working with like students to ensure that it's sort of like this similar thing to you with making sure that they have some sort of empathy towards local charities and what they're doing, and through that, like they would gain valuable skills for that for future. So yeah, it would just be basically ensuring that students are mingling. One of my points is for students and for Sussex students and Brighton students to mingle, because I see obviously like Brighton is the amount of students living in Brighton is continuously rising. That obviously has an effect on housing, but yeah, it's sort of, for me personally, I don't see enough unification of Brighton students and Sussex students. So organising coaches to protest up to marches, like when I've been going up to London for protests, there was only coaches that were available for Sussex students, and a lot of my friends in Brighton University like struggled to, they would either get the train or they would have to try and get some of the spare seats on our coaches.
Wow.
So sort of initiatives such as that, whereby you could get transport together, so it showed that we're a unified force of Brighton and we're coming together, you know, like there's a lot of us that feel passionately about political issues, so we may as well unify over them.
That's great. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
And
No,
speaking
thank
to
you.
us about that, your manifestos. It's been great. We're going to take a short break now. So thank you and stay seated, and we'll be back again.
Because we're going to have a green room. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. But is it looking at me right now?
It is.
Tell me. Tell me, when should I start? Do I start right now?
I don't know.
Hi guys, it's Charuj here, and we're having a short break right now, get away from all of the seriousness of the campaign questions. So we're just going to ask candidates questions not really related to their manifestos. So, you were just on, but what's your name again?
Aisling.
And did you have a shower today?
No, I had a bath.
What's your favourite song to sing in the bath then?
Oh, I don't know, Grania. What's my favourite? Grania's my housemate. What's my favourite song?
Favourite song should always be ABBA.
Yeah. ABBA, I don't know. I'm really into Irish music, so I do a lot of Irish singing.
Okay, tell me an Irish song then. Because your name is Irish, isn't it?
My name's Irish.
Yeah. That's why it's so weird to pronounce. No, I mean, like, it's not really spelt the same way. If you get
It's Gaelic, it's fine, yeah. No one can ever pronounce it. An Irish song, Craigie Hill, me and Grania sing that together. More Luxor, personal favourite. I don't know, any Irish song. Irish music just, like, gets me going, you know.
That's cool then. And you now? Name?
Luke.
Favourite song to sing in the shower?
It was going to have to be a Dennis Brown song called The Promised Land, which is a reggae song.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's because you can tell I just love reggae.
No, I actually can't tell.
Yeah,
but
that's the Irish.
Okay, your name?
Jordan.
Favourite song to sing in the shower?
Material Girl by Madonna for no reason other than it's the best song ever written.
I really wish I could ask you guys to sing it right now, but I think that would be copyright infringement. Grania.
Hi.
So I just said your name for you.
My name is Grania.
Yeah. And your favourite song to sing in the shower?
My favourite song to sing in the shower, I think, because like shower is quite a specific place to be singing.
Yeah.
But I think like in the shower you need to go quite cheesy. So probably like all ABBA songs ever. My favourites are like Chiquitita, and I like Gimme Gimme Gimme, and I like All Our Summer. I'm just a big ABBA.
SOS?
SOS and Fernando, all of them.
Dancing Queen for me. Your name?
Oh, Frida. Hi.
You just you just forgot your name there for a second. You were like, oh yeah. Okay, favorite song to sing in the shower?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Grania. It's ABBA, always.
Okay, that's cool then. And Gustafsson, that I remember your surname. That must mean you're Swedish.
It does.
Okay, makes sense.
You remember my name more than I do.
Okay. I think to get there we'll have to pass the mic around. But yeah, favorite song to sing in the shower then?
Should I hold it?
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
Say your name too. Hey, I'm Katie. Favorite song to sing in the shower would, I don't know, I constantly have a mix of music on Spotify, so I just sing along to my music on Spotify. So I don't have a favorite song to sing in the shower. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm being honest with you.
Hello, I'm Jamie, and I'd say like a bit of Queen. Yeah, I Want to Break Free is a personal favourite. Bohemian Rhapsody is, if I'm feeling like, yeah, no, exactly. No, it's definitely, yeah, Queen's right up there. So it gets me ready for the day. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ahmad. So the song that I normally sing would be, I guess, either Informal or This Is How We Do It by Montreal Jordan. And it's quite a song.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I think my favourite songs to sing in the shower are like a cappella country-ish songs, like Home. Well, obviously it's a cappella because you're in the shower, but yeah, I sometimes bring some instruments into the shower as well, but it goes a bit wrong.
I'm Annie, and my favourite song to sing in the shower would be Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yeah. Should we pass it?
I
Yeah?
have to do it from this way, otherwise you guys will all get Here we go. Favorite song to sing in the shower?
Hi, I'm Lila. I guess the Arctic Monkeys, because I'm from the same sort of area as them, or love a bit of Florence and the Machine.
Okay, that's a nice choice. Here you go, man.
Hi, I'm Jack, and my favourite song to sing in the shower would be You Give Love a Bad Name by Bon Jovi.
Hi, I'm Daniel, and I think it's probably a toss-up between ABBA, like these guys said, or a bit of Bastille. I like Bastille.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm going to have to go hipster here and go Dancing on Glass by St. Lucia.
I'm Chris, and I would probably have to say The Final Countdown.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I would probably go a little bit old school and go with some Ella Fitzgerald.
Hi, I'm Lucy. I would probably go with Dancing in the Moonlight. Good shower tune.
Sorry, guys. Should I just start? Okay, I think I'll just start the questions from here. This time, you guys have to describe what animal best fits your personality, and in a brief sentence, say why.
I would say bears, because they like to hibernate a lot.
I would probably have to go with hyenas because everyone hates me, but I'm actually quite nice.
Probably have to say a lion, because I really fight for what I stand for.
And did we specify it had to be real?
No, it could be a mythical animal. Oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah, we've got to go back now. I'm going to go with a wildebeest. mainly because it's the thing that killed Mufasa. And that's always been part of my like motivation to go on, is because Mufasa died, I have to do something. I have to do something. I have to make something of myself.
God. I do not have the foggiest. I always hate these questions. Well, perhaps a dog then. And I shan't say why because I have no idea.
I think it would be either a lion cub because I have uncontrollably weird, crazy, frizzy hair, or a unicorn because, I mean, who doesn't want to be a unicorn, right? Majestic.
Where are we going?
Start with Frida Dan.
Ooh. I was going to go with unicorn, but Lucy took that, so I'm going to go with Pegasus, because I'm fly as fuck.
I forgot peacock. I was going to say peacock because I have a tattoo of a peacock on my back, and I think their colours are amazing and beautiful and creative.
Yeah, I think I'd be like a terrier or something like small and loud. It's kind of me. It's loyal though, loyal. It's got a lot of good characteristics. Yeah, but small is the main one.
For me, it would be a cat, I would say, because like part of them like sociable and another side of them like just partly sloth, I would say. You want to be alone, so like yes.
Everyone should have gone with that.
I went with cat.
This might be a bit cliche, but I'm going to go for a bird so that I could fly.
I was going to say I would be a parrot because I'm colourful and chatty and I wish I could fly.
Yeah, just to make sure no one gets choked. Here we go.
I think like all my friends would just be upset if I didn't say I'd be a cat, because like I sleep a lot, I love my bed, I kind of just should have been a cat. I don't know why I'm a human. Like I say this on a daily basis, like why wasn't I just a cat? And cats aren't boring, you know, cats are alright. So yeah, a cat.
I would be a red panda because I think red pandas are basically the best thing in the world. And they're everything they are, not of myself, but it's everything that I want to be is a red panda because they are so cute and they just, have you ever seen one like run? They prance. And I mean, I don't prance much, but I wish I could prance like a red panda because they are amazing.
A good friend of mine once told me that my Patronus was somewhere between a peacock and a giraffe. And I think I didn't know whether to be offended, but I just took it. I reframed it as a good thing. I have really long legs and I fall over quite often. But also I think, you know, giraffes seem quite kind. So maybe I'm just like a kind peacock giraffe.
I mean, it said mythical animals are allowed, so there's that. And I do have existential crises about wanting to be a cat too. So, yeah. But keeping on the theme of animals, could you guys name one way in which we can make seagulls more useful to have around campus?
Okay, look. I feel sorry for seagulls, right? I've grown up in Brighton, and like I just don't understand people's hatred of seagulls. Like, if you don't like them, you shouldn't have come to Brighton. No, but they are really annoying. I guess we could, like, I don't know, use them to attack university management. Don't repeat that.
I don't know, maybe we could create some kind of open air bin for waste food that seagulls could go to rather than ransacking through the bins of everyone else. Sorry, what? I mean, I don't think they're good for much, so...
I think in like true union spirit, we should get them to poo on the heads of people promoting the NSS. Boycott the NSS.
You're a true SU warrior.
How about we try and fit on some Wi-Fi routers on them so that EduRoam actually reaches to where we are?
Nice. Sorry.
I had a seagull that attacked my head once on campus, and like I just had a bread roll and it came for it, and I had to like chuck the bread roll at it. So that's the only way I could get it to go away, because swearing at it wouldn't make it go. So like, food waste.
I think the seagulls do need some correctional training. So, I don't know. I think they could have some potential uses, taking back library books. If not, I think maybe we could teach them to target Brighton Uni instead. So. Just saying what we're all thinking.
Well, for me, I guess we should train them to like do sending messages and all that, like what they did back in those days. Like people were like, like Harry Potter, exactly.
I think those are pigeons.
It's like those like little papers and all that, like with some slots by the feet. Maybe that's so cool. Imagining like sending like your lecture sending stuff over to you using a seagull.
I once got pooed on by a seagull, so I think that maybe their poo, instead of being used to be on people, should be used for composting, and then we could all grow some nice food.
I think we should harness lots of them, and so they're strong enough to fly, and they can carry us, and then they can transport people to and from campus, and we don't have to worry about the buses and the trains.
Yay!
I'm so sorry, guys, but we have to cut it now to stay on time. I know you must have had the best ideas. Okay. But that's it from our candidates for now. We'll be getting back to you right now, Sam.
Thank you, Tarouj, from the waiting room, of course. Now that we've heard from our first two positions, which are obviously the Activities and Society and Citizenship officers, we'll move on to the Postgraduate Educational officers. But before we do so, let's have a look at their VTs.
My name is Jordan Taylor, and I'm a full-time master's student in the History and Philosophy department, and I'm campaigning for the role of Postgraduate Education Officer. I'm going to be focusing on 4 key areas, and they are financial, administrative, mental and physical, and leisure. And my key points are to introduce a great amount of discounts at the university and union to alleviate the financial burdens on postgraduate students, and to oppose uncapped rising fees. In terms of administrative, I want to simplify university procedures and increase the amount of contact time that masters and doctoral students have with their supervisors and tutors. In terms of mental and physical improvements, I want to lobby the university for huge improvements in their exceptional circumstances and reasonable adjustment procedures to be more reflective of real-life situations that students face. And in terms of leisure, I want dedicated postgraduate social spaces and events during Freshers' Week and the academic year.
Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm running for Postgraduate Education Officer. I want to make sure that postgraduates are treated the same and have the same access to services as undergraduate students here at Sussex. If I'm elected, I want to make sure that we have more study spaces both on and off campus. I want us to make sure we keep the fees down here at Sussex and prevent another huge increase like we saw a couple of years ago. And I also want to make sure that postgraduate students have better academic and mental health support, and that includes the introduction of academic advisors at postgraduate level. Please vote for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sarah McIntosh, and I'm running for the position of Postgraduate Student Officer at the University of Sussex. I believe strongly and passionately that education should be accessible and open to all. With that in mind, if elected, I will work towards, I will fight against tuition fees for postgraduate students. I will campaign to make sure the capping of hours for associate tutors remains uncapped. I will work towards creating a living wage for any students employed by the university. And I will look into and work towards better facilities and dedicated space for postgraduate students.
Welcome back to candidate question time. Now we are joined by our 3 candidates, Jordan, Daniel, and Sarah. Let's start off with Jordan. Now, in your manifesto, you state the importance of raising postgraduates' representation on campus and in the Students' Union, as well as creating links to the rest of the student body. So, what do you propose to enhance postgraduate students' representation then?
Okay, so representation within the student union, you need to look at every single level. And you have the frontline staff first, so they're the staff working in our bars, at our pubs in town, at the co-op, and we need to be having more targeted recruitment for postgraduates. We need to be looking at where postgraduates are living in town, what they're doing on campus, where they're studying, going out and finding, you know, people who very, very well be interested in having jobs at our bars, but are not necessarily aware that they exist. And you need to move up then to employment opportunities post graduation, and looking at what roles we can create within the union that would be more suited to postgrad, things that can be either placements for 2 years, 1 year, more permanent roles. And then moving further up into like the democratic representation, the main body of that within the union is the Union Council, and there certainly needs to be more postgraduate representatives on that, and that kind of feeds into improvements in the student rep scheme, and there needs to be, again, more graduate representation within that, targeted training, targeted recruitment, all these kind of things to make sure that postgraduates are getting involved as much as undergraduate students do.
I see. So, Daniel then, one of your most highlighted points is on greater academic and mental health support for PhD students. So, how feasible is it in introducing academic advisors for PhD students, given that most tutors have already been assigned large amounts of undergraduate and master students to supervise? So how would you ensure this pledge is carried out?
Well, let me just start by saying how important I feel that academic support at a postgraduate level is. Obviously, at the moment, you see that undergraduate students have academic advisors, which I was shocked to find out when I came to do my postgraduate degree that wasn't there so I'm doing a master's in journalism, but I don't have that support there. I feel like it's very important that we do that. So the way that I'd like to address that is to introduce academic advisors for postgraduate students at a master's level, and then to address the area for PhD students, I'd like to have a mentoring scheme. So for example, maybe like a person who's further on in their PhD would be supporting people who are in their first year and just starting out, and I feel that would be a good way to address some of the problems that we have.
Okay. Well, Sarah, you pledged to get rid of the capping of paid hours for associate tutors, as well as making sure they are paid a living wage. So how will you make sure this is enacted and prioritised in times of budget cuts?
Well, I think it's first of all that those are 2 very separate things. One, because associate tutors are kind of in this interesting space where they're part staff and they're part student. And so those 2 things, I think, are, one is an issue about staff and one is an issue about being a student. So with the capping of the hours, that being more to do with the student side of things, I think it's just about working with the university to try and they've already taken that cap off that they were going to do. So work with the university to work out how to keep it off. But then also with the living wage, which is more of a sort of, I would see that as more of being a staff issue. Then if the associate tutors are getting paid more, they won't perhaps need to work so many hours. So that might relieve some of the burden for the need for a cap.
So the general question I put to 3 of you then is, you're all campaigning for the increased dedicated study spaces for postgraduate students. So can you all try and explain to me how you will try to enact this, given the increasing population of students every year?
Okay, well, firstly, let me say I think it's really important for the university to carry out a detailed audit of all of the space that is used and unused on this campus. I do understand that space is at an absolute premium here, considering we're limited in the way that we can expand and stuff. But I also find it really hard to believe there isn't a large amount of unused space that really isn't fulfilling its potential. After that's done, and it's been analysis of what can be used where, things that can be repurposed, things that could be consolidated, and I think we'll gain space through that. In terms of the library, you have a finite amount of space, but I think the university could look into options of moving their least used resources out of the library into places like the Keep and other areas on campus and having more spaces in there. Also, specifically for postgraduates, you can start off by having a system where a certain area will only be used for a certain amount of time by postgraduates.
Yeah.
Maybe in the morning, maybe in the evening, looking at, the cycles of postgraduate study, when they prefer to be in the library.
Yeah.
And then seeing how that works out, you can work up from that and be like, well, we'll actually keep this space as a permanent postgraduate space. Elsewhere on campus, we know through the pop-up library that there is the ability to have these spaces on campus, and I certainly think that we can make them dedicated to postgraduates.
That's great. Daniel, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, well, like you've alluded to earlier, obviously with the more students that are going to be coming in the next few years, I think we're on the brink of like a academic space crisis unless something is urgently done. And as Jordan alluded to, I think an audit would be a really good idea to look at how much space isn't being used on campus. But on top of that, more needs to be done. I feel like a space off campus, obviously lots of postgraduates are living off campus. I feel that that would be a really good use of our resources. Obviously the university already have a shop in town, and I feel that that wouldn't be too much of a stretch to look into possibly getting a space in town that would be more accessible for people living off campus.
I see. Sarah?
Yeah, I think the couple of points that I'd like to make. First is that I'm aware that the university is slowing down, has as far as I'm aware anyway, agreed to slow down the amount of the student intake in the coming couple of years. So hopefully that will relieve some of the burden. But then also that there's planned works for more building, which may not be done till 2020. And if that's the case, then I think to know that that's going to be here eventually, then it would be a case of working with the university to as my fellow candidates here have already said, to ascertain what's being done with the space as it is now.
I see. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very much for coming on today. That'll be it from us for now. Until next time, until we're back with our next set of candidates.
Hi, I'm Grania. I'm the current welfare officer at the Student Union, and I'm running for re-election as welfare officer. This year I've achieved some really cool stuff. I've run free periods every Wednesday. I've got 2 new counsellors in the counselling service. I've got drug testing kits on campus so students can test their drugs and know what they're taking, and like loads more. If re-elected, I want to get a new counselling building in Brighton so that counselling is more accessible for students living off campus. I want to fight the 40% cap on resits, which discriminates against students and doesn't give them a second chance. I want to get an accessible slope into the library so students with disabilities can access it. And I want to create a welfare rep scheme so that students can be empowered to be the change they want to see in their school. I also want to create the Sussex Night Owls volunteer scheme so that students can look out for each other on their nights out and have a great time. And basically want to make sure that university is enjoyed, not endured, and that everyone's just having a great, fun, happy, safe time.
Hello and welcome back. We're now back with our 2 next set of candidates, Emily and Grania. I said that right. We thank God. Plus I just love saying her name. So, Emily, let's start off with you. In your manifesto, you've promised to campaign for cheaper rent, given the year-on-year increase of rent both on and off campus. So, how are you going to achieve this exactly?
Well, if I'm elected as welfare officer, I'd like to work closely with the Cut the Rent campaign.
Okay.
And also, so that's for students living on campus, and also for students living off campus. I've heard that there's been talk of organising some housing co-ops. So how that works is that so students sort of buy. So housing co-ops basically are where there's not really a landlord. The people who live in the house pay rent towards the mortgage, and so there's shared ownership of the house, which means that the landlord situation. Obviously, we all know that landlords take advantage of students,
of course,
in lots of ways, and so with this co-op housing plan, then it would mean that we wouldn't have to have the horrible landlords.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. No one likes these dodgy landlords.
Nope.
Okay. Grania, I put to you, you're campaigning about prioritising the provision of a new counselling building in Brighton. So, and also to reduce the waiting list for services, given the premium on study space, on the space already, sorry. Mumbled my words a bit. Can you explain how you're going to achieve this?
Yeah, so this is something that in my role as welfare officer I've already kind of sort of started working on. I've done a lot of work this year on provision of space for counselling, and the counselling service are now recruiting 2 new sort of full-time counsellors in the counselling service, which is great, and that is going to have the effect of reducing waiting lists. But the issue that there is that students that are living off campus are finding it really difficult to come onto campus, especially when they're having a really low mood and when their mental health is really bad. It can be quite a big ask to get them onto campus to access the support they need, and when they do need that support, then there's a really long waiting list. And I think a counselling building in town would be a really valuable resource for students, and the university are actually already looking at providing more space for the university in Brighton, and I've been lobbying for that to be welfare space as well as study space. So I think if they get a new building, which they are looking at doing, within that there could be a couple of rooms for counselling, where the current counsellors, instead of being really squished into the building that they're in now, could go and provide some support there. And there should also be funds put into getting more counsellors, because if the university are going to keep increasing their student numbers like they are planning to, and like they have done, and we've all felt the effect of that, it's been ridiculous on campus recently. I think they have a responsibility to provide more welfare support alongside a lot of other support, and a new counselling building I think is a really positive practical step in achieving that. So,
most definitely.
Yeah.
So in both of your respective manifestos, you've both spoken extensively about how you work to improve sorry, I've lost the question. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, I'm back now. All right, so as I was saying, in your respective manifestos, you've both spoken extensively about how you work to improve mental health services on campus. So what are the key areas you've both identified that are in need of most help?
Well, like Grania mentioned, the really long waiting lists are a really big problem, because students often go and seek out mental health services, which is a really big step in itself, but then to be told that you have to wait 6 weeks, it's just in 6 weeks who knows what the situation might be. So I'd like to see kind of more of a support network where if students go and seek out mental health services, if there is some waiting time, they're offered lots of other services in all in a central place, so they know what the options are, and there could be a wide range of different things such as co-counselling and workshops and kind of other therapies, and so that there's something that works for everyone.
It's great. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, so one of the main things that I've identified in the work that I've been doing about mental health this year is the huge need for members of staff in the university that have regular contact with students to have mental health awareness training and in particular suicide awareness training, because I think students, you know, when they're having a really bad time, they do disclose things to members of staff, be it that like academic advisors, admin staff, student union staff. I've definitely sort of experienced that, and I think it's really important that the relevant staff have training so that when students are disclosing to them, they can signpost them to the right places. And I think it is really important to have like peer support networks. We have SWAN, which is amazing. They do their peer support sessions every week and they're doing really, really well. But also that the Student Life Centre are kind of more utilised for what they're for, which is for like advice and support in putting in exceptional circumstances, which is another really stressful situation. And I think the main thing that I would say to improve the mental health of students at Sussex is to kind of make sure that the regulations that are in place in the university are more human and more flexible, and that management are talking to students and sort of supporting them in the kind of way that students need supporting and not sort of being suspicious of them. And
most definitely. Most definitely. Well, thank you both for coming on today. We'll be back very soon with our next batch of candidates.
Hi, I'm Jack, and I'm running to be Undergraduate Education Officer. I want education at Sussex to be more flexible, accessible, and accountable. In short, for a top quality education, vote Jack Stapleton.
Hi, I'm Lila, and I'm running for Undergraduate Education Officer. I believe in standing up for the student voice and providing a high quality of education alongside the university. Given that the universities are currently being marketised a lot more, I think we need to be heard and make sure that we're getting what we pay for out of university. I'm also passionate about running student campaigns. I'm currently involved in Sussex Decolonise Education, and I'm a student rep. I'm hoping to work with Cut the Rent, various other student campaign groups while I'm here. Thanks.
Creeping me out.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Something like it's looking me dead in the eyes.
I'm not going to lie, her eyes were always open before. Oh! Hiya, welcome back to Candidate Question Time. Now we're back with our candidates for undergraduate education. So, first up is Jack.
Hello.
Hiya, Jack. How you doing? Now, one of your key policies is to ensure a greater degree of flexibility with regards to electives and module choices. So, how will you go about changing this?
Well, essentially, I want to lobby the different schools in the university to coordinate better. A lot of the time, especially if you're doing a joint honours degree, it can feel like you're doing two completely separate schools of learning, which isn't how it should be. It should be integrated, it should work together, such to the point where even doing a joint honours degree, you should be able to pick modules from maybe other departments within the schools that you're taking modules in. I think it just makes an education a more rounded and beneficial experience for everybody.
That's great. Now, Lula, you've committed to ensuring assessments are scheduled and marked fairly. And quickly to lessen the subjective impact of double marking. So how do you plan on doing this?
Well, with regards to the assessments being marked fairly, I've been working in the Student Experience Forum with Claire Mackey, and we're hoping to implement a basket system so that no assessments can be on the same day. And in terms of assessments being fairly marked, referring mainly to reasonable adjustments and the extenuating circumstances. Currently, there isn't a disability expert that sits on the Reasonable Adjustments Board, which is absolutely ridiculous. So that would be the first kind of step there. And then to kind of lessen the subjectivity of double marking, I'm hoping to get a much larger sample of assessments double marked, because most universities currently double mark almost all assessments, whereas we single mark with a very small sample size being double marked, which means you get huge variance in the grades that you get based on the tutors that are marking them.
Okay, so the question I put to both of you then is, you're both campaigning on the promise of continuing to work with student activism groups. So, what groups have you had the most involvement with, and how have they helped improve the culture at Sussex?
Would you like to?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So this year I've been working mainly on decolonised education with Savannah, the current undergraduate officer, who is amazing. And we've been setting up forums across the different schools in order to decolonise the curriculum, make it more accessible for people, and make it less sort of white, cis-het male, which tends to be the canon, because we are really, as universities, we are central to creating the canon. And so that needs to be something that's done. I also work with Cut the Rent Sussex, and we've currently, there's been rent caps agreed, which means that rent can't rise unless, above 70% of the student loan, unless the student loan rises. And hopefully that'll be put into place, but there's a demonstration on Friday, I can't remember the time, in Library Square, and everyone should come to that, because hopefully we can put enough pressure on the Vice-Chancellor to make that happen.
That's great, that's great. Jack, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I mean, my involvement has mostly been with the university's Politics Society.
Okay.
And we look at creating debate, getting students engaged and involved in issues that are relevant to them.
Yeah.
So, everything that Luda's been talking about, which is so fantastic, it's got to be about getting as many students around the table as possible, working out exactly what we want and exactly how we're going to do it.
That's great, that's great. I mean, do you have anything else you wanted to add to that question, or happy with that? I'm happy with that.
Very happy.
And I believe our viewers are also happy with that. So, without further ado, that's it from our candidates running for undergrad education. Now, let's check in with Tarouj in the waiting room.
Okay. Hi guys, it's Tarouj again. So, research has shown that those who do the seaweed dance best in elections perform 50% better in that election. So now we'll ask our candidates to do the seaweed dance. Don't worry, I'll show it to you. And the audience will judge who has the best seaweed dance. You can add your own creative moves to it if you like. You'll have 4 seconds to do it. All you need to do is stand up. I'll count down to 4 with my fingers. And you have to... Yeah, I did do it already, just to prepare you guys. So, let's start with you, Jack.
Yes, I'm going to hit you with a fist.
If you want to, sure, yeah. So, start. Okay. Lula. Your head's moving around. Cool. Luke, yeah. Okay. Ashling. Okay. Grania. Emily. There we go. Okay. Dan. Lizzie. Okay, sure. Okay, okay. Okay. Last but not the least. Oh. Okay. I think we've only got time for a few more questions. So, if you guys were in co-op, what would you most probably be purchasing and why?
Big bag of chocolate buns. It's chocolate you can eat on the move.
Quality vegetarian bagel man, because I mean that is the pinnacle of living in Brighton.
Yeah.
Ginster's sausage roll, because it's the most meat for the lowest price.
The conflict bars with like anything water, that's all.
This is really stressful. I literally don't know. I never just buy one thing from the co-op. That's like what's the
Just
worst
name
thing about the
everything.
co-op. Once you're in there, you just like, oh, I need a bit of that and a bit of that, and I'll probably like a chocolate. Get me through the day.
I think you'll have to lean over a bit, Grania, yeah.
I'd probably buy a meal deal, but I'd also buy loads because I want to redirect money back into the union so we can do lots of great activities.
Student Union Warrior there.
I actually don't really buy anything from co-op because I'd rather support our student co-ops, such as Scoop, a wonderful food co-op that supplies organic and really great quality foods at wholesale prices.
Are these co-ops like usually on Tuesdays?
Yes, they are.
Oh, okay.
Tuesday market.
Oh yeah, okay, got it.
Don't go to co-op.
I'd probably buy some Ben & Jerry's because it's worth every penny.
I'm sorry, Grania, I would not shop at the co-op, it's too expensive, but I would probably buy Lucasade because it just gets me through my degree.
That is actually true. Now, is it? Okay, so I think that's all we have for right now. We'll go back to Sam. See you in the other studio.
Thank you again to Rouge. Now that we've heard from our 5 full-time officer positions, we are now moving on to more pressing matters. This our category for the president of the United States. No, I'm joking. Students' union elections. I wish I was presenting that. For those of you who just turned on, you can watch the previous candidates' answers on YouTube channel after our show ends. So next and final group are candidates running for president, as I've said. I'm sure you're all eager to hear from them. But first of all, let's move to their let's watch their VTs.
Hi, I'm Chris Seymour. I'm a third-year law student and I'm running for president of Sussex Students' Union because I want to make Sussex a better place for everyone who studies here. At the moment, I sit on the Societies Committee and Union Council, so I have a strong understanding of how the union works and how we can make it work better. I have a lot of policies in order to do this, but here are my main 3. Firstly, I'll provide £50,000 funding for sports clubs and societies. Secondly, I'll negotiate a 20% discount at the co-op for all Sussex students. And finally, I'll ensure that there are more buses on the road to reduce overcrowding, especially at peak times.
Hi, I'm Frida, and I'm running for president for the Students' Union because I want to put the future of Sussex back in the hands of its students. As your president, I will work to create cheaper books, more buses, and a better union. So remember, when it's your time to vote, vote Frida for president.
I'm Annie and I'm rerunning to be your president for a second term. I've achieved a lot last year, but I still think there's a lot more that can be done. I'm all about making campus a more affordable, eventful, democratic and sustainable place. University shouldn't be so expensive, great events should be happening on campus, and there should be greater student voice via better democracy at Sussex, and the union and the university should be working towards being more environmentally sustainable. So please remember to pick Pickering again for president.
Hello and welcome back. We are now joined with our candidates, Hillary Truck. I'm going to stop doing that now. No, seriously, we're joined with Chris, Frida, and Annie. How you guys doing? All right?
Not so bad.
Yeah? All right. Well, let me just ease you on into these questions. All right. Cool. Now, Chris, let's start with you. You say you think the most compelling promise of your manifesto is your commitment to a 20% discount for students at on the... I don't know who's written this. Hold on, bear with me 1 second. You think the most compelling promise of your manifesto is your commitment to a 20% discount for students at the on-campus co-op. Given that the co-op is not regulated by the university, how do you plan on achieving this?
Well, firstly, I'd take issue. I didn't say it was my most compelling promise.
Oh, okay.
It's my second one. My first one is to triple the sports fund. But, yes, so in consultation with various members of the co-op this week, including some sort of senior management, I've taken on the feedback from that. And although I am generally a very optimistic guy, it has become clear that this may be a little bit too much to ask for. So instead, what I'm proposing now is a 10% discount for all Sussex students. So instead of those just with NUS cards, they're for anyone.
I see. Now, also, Frida, you've committed to making sure that more spaces on campus to eat and study. How are you going to effectively create more study space, given that much of the space is already being used for administrative or teaching purposes?
Well, I'd say the problem with the campus is that it's crammed, but the campus is huge. There's lots of physical space that we're just not using. And up in Freeman, I've been the student representative is the word, for politics year 1 and 2, and we said that we didn't have enough study spaces and made sure that we introduced more study pods, like the ones that we have in Jubilee.
Yeah.
And I want to do stuff like that, introduce more beanbags, more study pods, make sure that the plugs are working in the library. So it's not just about creating more space where there is none. I wish I could do that, I can't. But make sure that we use the space that we have better.
Yeah. All right then. Well, Annie, you one of your core aims is to improve the housing situation on campus and for students outside of campus as well. So how do you plan to ensure that the new accommodation on campus is kept at an affordable rate?
So as the current president, I'm in consultation with the university to try and set future rents, so hopefully we're trying to keep them low. And I'm also in consultation with them with the East Slope project, where they're building the new accommodation. So I'm really trying hard to persuade them to ensure that the new accommodation is built and it is affordable, and if not, we ensure that there is affordable accommodation on campus. And as well as working for off-campus accommodation, one thing we've secured this year is a rent guarantor scheme. Okay. So if you don't have a UK homeowner to help rent in the private sector in Brighton, students can go with the university and they'll act as a guarantor. So there's a lot more to be done to improve that scheme for the years ahead to make sure renting off-campus as well is easier.
I see. Now, I've got a general question I'd like to put to all of you, so please feel free to speak whenever. You have all made promises to lower bus costs or to work with B&H buses to improve campus services at the busiest of times. So, can you explain how you'll go about this, given that prices have been steadily increasing for years now?
So something that my manifesto touches upon, which I don't think anyone else is I want to extend the Take Care scheme, which right now allows students to get home for free at night if they've lost their wallet. So essentially, by showing your student card to a taxi driver, they will take you home, the money will be sent to the university, and the Students' Union will pay for it, so that you then can come in the day after and pay the Students' Union back for the fee that the taxi ride cost.
Right.
I want to make sure that that is extended to buses, and as a women's officer, which I was last year, I've already had meetings with the B&H bus company, and they are actually quite up for it. We just need to make sure that we have more stats for how we are using the taxi scheme right now, and it should be implementable.
I see. Okay.
So I would say that I'd like to get the Big Lemon back on campus. It's currently a free bus service for Brighton University students, so hopefully we could have the similar thing. I have been working on that this year as president and talking to the university and the Big Lemon. Slow progress. I also think we have to remember that Brighton and Hove buses want, as many students on campus as possible. It is too expensive and we should campaign and try and get that cheaper, but they are willing to work with us and make it better for students.
You've mentioned you're making progress by talking to the company about the lemon bus. What progresses have been made?
So there's, I've spoken to the Big Lemon and I've spoken to the university, and the university have since spoken to the Big Lemon about working to have some sort of new bus route on campus.
Okay.
We don't know yet which provider, but I'm currently working on that to try and, because buses are expensive, but also they're overcrowded, so we need to work on providing a new bus route or more buses so people aren't just waiting at the bus stops in the morning for ages.
Well, my main promise on buses was that I'd increase the number of them running at peak times. And I think what we all have to appreciate is that although it is expensive, and obviously Brighton Hove buses want to make as much profit as possible, ultimately they are a business that is reactive to its consumers. And so if we as a student union can show on behalf of our members that we're not happy with the service, as it's been said, they are receptive to that. And I think with the right amount of pressure applied and, forceful negotiating style, I don't doubt at all that they will at least increase the buses in some sort.
I don't see why not myself. So, just another question, very quickly. Where do you stand on renaming the role of president to union affair officers in regards to the failed 2016 and 2014 referendum?
When it was brought up at exec, I was quite anti it. It feels like, as much as I personally am pro changing the name, you shouldn't put something to a referendum more than once just because you want to push it through, personally.
I think as current president, there are issues around how the role is perceived sometimes, but I'm totally up for a name change if students want it, but it didn't go through, so let's stick with president for the time being and see what happens.
Personally, I support a name change too. I think a different name would better describe the role and stop giving the impression that it's a more important role than the others. They're different roles, obviously. Each one has different responsibilities. But, you can't keep putting something to a referendum just because you don't like the result. And so I don't think we should have another one, and I don't think we should have had the last one.
Well, thank you three for joining us today.
Thank
It's been
you.
an absolute pleasure. And thank you to all the candidates who joined today. If you would like to know any more information regarding the candidates and their manifestos, you can check out the Student Union page at sussexstudent.com/elections. Voting opens on the 27th of February at 9 a.m. and closes at 5 p.m. on the 3rd of March. You can also rewatch the whole show on our YouTube channel at UniTV Live. Let's get a last view of the candidates in a waiting room. Are we back? We're back. So, thank you for tuning in today. We've had some technical difficulties today. Lord knows my mouth has. So, we apologize for that. Well, that's it from UniTV. Thank you for watching Candidate Question Time 2017. I've been your host, Samuel Falayan, and it's been an absolute pleasure. So, Bye.